Hey folks, making a video on about AOC endorsing Biden and reacting to TyT's take on this. And these guys are says about them this like I have a lot of issues now. The big controversy with them, they're going back on their views, the leftist views. And AOC endorsing Biden, and I don't see why they're thinking the uproar on this. But this is too bad. I'm not a Biden fan, but why is it she see it, or you see, given the field, like Bernie's not running. You have Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr. But anyways, let's see what this is. What they say.
Right now, she's saying, given the field, given what the Democratic primary looks like, yeah, I'm throwing my support behind Joe Biden. I don't begrudge her for that, right?
I do, but
okay. So
going.
There's that. The filibuster and the structural issues she mentioned are legitimate issues, and she's in the House. The legislative filibuster is in the Senate. I would have loved to see Senate Democrats actually fight to reform, the filibuster situation, or just throw out the filibuster entirely. I know there's some disagreement in regard to the consequences of doing that. So I'm just trying to be fair in parsing out what she's saying there.
Maybe fair, really.
At the same time, it is frustrating because the whole point of pushing a more progressive wing of the Democratic Party was to essentially have a group of elected lawmakers in the Democratic Party that would challenge, the corporate Democrats and push the party overall to the left, especially on economic issues, and that remains to be seen.
No, yeah, I mean,
to the left. Okay. To the left, really. More like criminal justice reform, but she's more to the left than you guys, apparently. I guess there's only certain things you care about. She's to the left.
It remains to be seen, as in they haven't done it at all, and
Right.
Let's see if they do. There's three different issues with what AOC just said. One's about the primary. I'll get to that in a second. Number two is whether Biden has been good enough so far. And the third one is the central core of the problem. So she's wrong on all three. So number one, central core of the problem is not the filibuster. The central core of the problem is that her colleagues are corrupt and they take corporate cash and do whatever their donors tell them. The filibuster is just a tool they're using to block progress. If it wasn't a filibuster, they'd use another tool to block progress, because the problem isn't some sort of like, oh golly gee, I just can't get past that random hurdle that's procedural. You can't get past a procedural. That's not the core of the problem at all. If you think that the filibuster is the problem and not the campaign financing, sorry, but you just missed it. You missed the whole thing. And I don't think that AOC thinks that. I think AOC is saying that because the number one crime in Washington is criticizing a freaking colleague, okay? And so she's, in my opinion, purposely misidentifying the problem. So that's an enormous issue right there. Secondly, did Biden do a good enough job? Come
I don't know.
Come on, guys. No, I don't want progressives joining in gaslighting us. Remember when progressives said $15 minimum wage was a layup and that their buddy Joe Biden was definitely going to pass it? And what's the first thing Joe Biden threw under the bus? The $15 minimum wage. Goes out on television as soon as he's elected, goes, I don't know about $15, it's gonna be hard. Gonna be hard to do it. He said it in the Super Bowl interview, he said it in another interview, and right away they took it right out of the bill. Because he was lying. You can't say that in Washington. That is a powerful elite person. And at the head of our beloved party, the party matters so much more than the voters. Who cares about the voters or the policies? The party must be protected. No, he didn't do it. He was never going to do it. Public op.
It was really the squad's fault. It was the other, was the other so-called progressive Democrats that really did that quashed everything. The $15 minimum wage. So I don't think what's her name, Jayapat, what's her name, I forgot her name, Jayapat, whatever. She really you blame her more for what the failings of the Democrats. It's the so-called progressives. It's not really the squad.
Hold on. I gotta just interject really quick on $15 an hour minimum wage. Remember, there are states like Florida, red states like Florida, that had a $15 an hour minimum wage on the ballot, right, as a ballot initiative that voters could directly vote on, and they overwhelmingly approved it. So when we hear from Democratic lawmakers or Democratic officials arguing that accomplishing things like $15 an hour minimum wage is challenging or difficult, you got to really ask them what they mean by that, because it's not challenging as a result of the electorate not wanting it. The electorate overwhelmingly wants it, including, Republican voters in states like Florida. So I just wanted to give that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Look, here's another example, the one I always use, paid family leave. Does the public want it? Is it challenging? Is it difficult? No, it's super easy. 84% of Americans want it. All you have to do is be strong. 74% of Republican voters want it. Republicans, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing what 3/4 of your voters want? And take it to the Republicans. No, I can't find the Republicans. Filibuster, get out of here. Biden doesn't want to do it. Look, I'm sorry, man. If you still don't get that, all right, well, what are we going to do? We got nobody. To help us in Washington. 84%, by the way, progressives in Congress, what are you doing? Why don't you introduce it?
Progressive, that's right. Not Biden. Biden can't just do it alone.
Okay, I know you can't do it in the House, but you could talk about it. You could pressure the senators to do it. You can't find a single senator to introduce it when the Democrats control the Senate. Come on, you're not even trying. Get out of here. Like, public option, another one. Overwhelming, 2/3 of Americans want it. Well, I said, I'm definitely going to do the public option. And he didn't even propose it. So I looked at PolitiFact. Good, wonderful organization overall, but they're also part of groupthink. And they're like, okay, well, the public option, in progress. What do you mean in progress? It's not in progress at all. Mm-hmm. Never proposed.
True.
Now, PolitiFact, you're trying to cover Biden's ass by saying things that aren't even remotely true?
Public option? No, you're in favor of the public option? I thought you Medicare for all. I thought you guys are for Medicare for all. The public option? It's strictly Medicare for all. That was the theme. The Bernie Sanders wanted. Not public option. You wanted the public option is good, but I thought you guys, the Turks, you guys for Medicare for all at one time. Forget about the public option. But now you're for the public option, not Medicare for all. I'm to Medicare for all.
And then they're like, negotiating drug prices for Medicare. Check, he accomplished it. Accomplished it for 10 drugs 3 years later, and thousands of drugs you can't negotiate prices on. So Less than 1% of the drugs. Less than 1%. That's to cover the ass of the drug industry for the other 99%. And PolitiFact goes, check. Mission accomplished. And you know what happened? Even with all of those things piled in, PolitiFact is like, he kind of did 27% of his agenda. The real number's way, way lower. And AOC is supposed to be the leading fighter of progressives in the House. She's like, oh yeah, good enough. No, I'm sorry. Not remotely good enough. And finally to the primary. We haven't even gotten started yet.
This one I get to.
This is around the time when Trump came down the escalator in 2015. And already, not just Democrats, not just the corporate media that loves Biden, that loves establishment Democrats, loves greasy corporate politicians, not just those guys, but progressives are saying it's over before it got started.
Yeah, not over. I think they look at it as, but she's right. Look at the field. RFK Jr., he's not a progressive. And Marianne Williamson, she sounds good, but she's not authentic to me. She kind of says something about her that, she's actually making all these promises. She's gonna do this and that. And you really think she'll beat Donald Trump? Marianne Williamson, I think RFK Jr. could beat Donald Trump. But you really think Marianne Williamson could beat Donald Trump? I don't think so. Or any other Republican. DeSantis even. You know what I mean? I don't think so. And he's full of, I see what he thinks.
Started?
Yeah, that is, look.
Come on!
That is, definitely a warranted criticism.
Every part of it is
because
warranted.
Look, I mean, in the very least, you withhold your endorsement in an effort to get some concessions, right? But
Okay, that's a good
there was no
point.
effort at all here, and
Yeah.
I think
That's a good point. Get some concession. The Wayne Jenks doing his bullshit. Who's gonna come in and really come in and who's there's no really, but she's right. Who's the candidate? Who's legit candidate to challenge Biden? AOC is right. I think have to be honest with the people.
at the heart of your frustration.
Hey, and by the way, it's not just AOC. No. We're always fair. Bernie, I love you, Bernie. But what are you endorsing him now for? Why don't you just endorse him like a decade ago? What is this? And hey, Bernie Sanders, AOC, all these progressives in Congress.
And why is that? Marianne Williamson, such a great progressive. I mean, why are they? That's interesting. Why they're not endorsing her. Nobody's endorsing her from even the squad. She's such a great progressive. Blah blah blah. So that shows you something. I mean, really, even because they love Biden, I don't think so. Because they I don't think they agree with Biden. Maybe Sanders likes Biden because his friend. But AOC and the squad, I don't think they like Biden. I think but who's the candidate? They're right. I think Marianne Williamson. I think anyways.
What did you get for your endorsement of Biden this early? Yeah, I'll let you take a minute with that. Oh, right, you were supposed to ask for something. Elementary politics. They're constantly giving away their leverage, their power, everything. Just give it away, give it away, give it away.
Yeah, but didn't they do that last time? Whatever, I don't know. Actually, something. Then they did that last time, and they implemented what they did. Implement their policy the last election. No, I don't think so. So I don't know.
So 6 months before any voting takes place, all progressives in Washington are now doormats. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. Where are you? Where's the goddamn fight? I remember talking before they got elected about how they're going to give a good fight to the establishment. And I gave them every opportunity. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Nothing,
Weird.
nothing. And finally, look, guys, I think other people might get into the race. I think this race hasn't even begun.
I don't think so, buddy. You really think so? He's full of it. Yeah, sure they'll get into the race. Are they really good people? Just bullshit. I mean, could be a clown show get into the race. You never know.
And yet, but if you made me vote between Joe Biden and Marianne Williamson, it is not remotely close. Marianne Williamson. She has all of the right policy positions, and she's honest. She actually wants to do them. You can say, well, I don't like her. She's spiritual. That's the reason you're opposed to her? Because she's spiritual? Oh, I don't like some of her former...
She seems too good to be true. And you know that somebody posed a question to her about reparations, and then she called that person anti-Semitic. I think there was a meeting, a town hall she was having. I think there was a black voter. I think this guy used to run in the Democratic primary, and she asked him about reparations. I mean, he was kind of aggressive, and she told him, well, he's being anti-Semitic. She kind of dismissed him. I mean, really. And she seems too good to be true. She's too good to be true. She's gonna do all this. She's all for Medicare for all and this and that, everything. But she don't. To me, I don't know. She don't sound that authentic to me. Even JFK Jr. I'd rather vote for JFK Jr. He's not a progressive. I'd rather vote for him than he has a better chance of beating Biden in the primary. And she's at 10%, and she doesn't seem. In no way she's gonna beat Trump. You know, they'll smear her left or right, the media. You know that, Jink. She's a communist, socialist. You know what I mean? Definitely. You know she's gonna beat by Trump. Even DeSantis. You really think so? Do you really think she's gonna beat? Okay.
Spirituality. What is this? You don't like her religious beliefs? That's why you're against her? She doesn't have experience in politics. Wait a minute. The experience in politics has turned into a disaster. Are we winning with the experienced politicians? The experienced...
Yeah, but Donald Trump didn't have experience in politics. How did that turn out? So?
Politicians are the worst people on earth. No, it's not close. Marianne Williamson is definitely a better candidate than Joe Biden. But that's heresy in Washington. Heresy. Because...
Oh my God. You really think that? Maybe. She has better policy, but is she a good campaigner? Could she beat Donald Trump? Could she beat the Republicans? I don't think so. To be honest. I think Bernie Sanders could. If it's Bernie Sanders, yes, he could win. Do you really think she could win? I don't think so. You really think she's gonna win? Be honest. You're just lying to the public. Anyways.
If you say, then the serious elite people, especially the press, will not take you seriously. Marianne, no. No. It has to be a politician. It has to be one that's been around for 50 years.
No, it doesn't have to be a politician being around 50 years. Given the situation now, who else is there? You know what I mean? That's all she's saying. But this shows you she doesn't believe. I think if she was really authentic, I think if it was Bernie Sanders, she'd vote for Bernie Sanders. If Bernie Sanders is running, she'll vote for Sanders. I know AOC. I think AOC would, but who else? How come they're not endorsing their other progressives? It tells you something. The squad is not. I don't think it's because of what he thinks. Being polite. I mean, I think she's honest, and if they're more honest, not like she's not the other like the. They're not like the corporate Democrats. The other, they fall in line. I think they're more honest. I don't think they're scared. I don't think they believe that I think they believe like she can't win, like she can't beat the Republican. They don't think Marianne Williamson. I think it's more their right choice of right policy, but something about her they don't like. RFK Jr., they're not gonna vote for him. They're not gonna support him. I mean, in the primaries, because he's not a progressive. So they would go with Biden. Two corporate Democrat. Why not go with the one that you? But personally, I would go for RFK. Believe it or not, I know he's not a progressive, but he has some views. He has some policies he'll support. He supports some progressive policies, actually. Although he's wrong on the vaccine. That's the only point. But I think he has some views. I think he's a better candidate. He's a better candidate than what's her name, the so-called progressive. And he'll support some progressive ideas too. So I think if she should, maybe she shouldn't support Biden. You're right. She should support maybe someone like even RFK. Like Biden is a disaster. You're right. But I'm not gonna condemn her. I mean, for now. Like what? Who's gonna? You know what I mean? I mean, if she support who's in the field, she's right. In fact, she should support RFK Jr. Actually, but
because experience of doing nothing is the most important thing. No deal. If this is the answer, we're screwed, man. We need some massive game changer in America.
Maybe so-called progressive. These are some progressive. Okay.
In politics, because apparently the folks we sent in, they're not even fighting anymore.
Really, you sent in? Yeah, they're fighting. Bowman's fighting. Bowman's doing he's up there in rallies, in protests. And other Real Omar, I mean you don't agree with her on criminal justice reform. She's more left than you, Jake. I mean, and what's her name? I forgot her name now. Presley, and the other one. There's another one. But on criminal justice reform, they're more progressive than you, and you disagree with them. But you know what I mean? I mean, they're doing something. You know, AOC is more. She's kind of I don't know. In some ways, maybe she has in a way gotten more like a corporate, more to the corporate side of things. But she's but still, I don't think you can condemn her for that. And Bernie's one for his friend, so But that shows you the so-called progressive candidate, Marianne Williamson. She seems, I don't know, she doesn't seem that authentic to me, although she spots the right views. I don't think they don't think she could win. Also, that's what that amounts to. She gonna beat Donald Trump? I don't think so. They'll label her as a communist and whatever in the primaries, in the election. See if she wins the primary. They'll label her as a communist, a socialist. And how will she respond to that? She hasn't experience with well, I don't know if she ran before. But that magnitude, she has experience with campaigns like that. I know Sanders has an experience. See if Sanders was running, yeah, he probably could win. Most likely. Even AOC would win. But somebody like Marianne Williamson, I don't think so. I think the Democrats' best chance is to run Biden right now or RFK Jr. I think RFK Jr. But he's not progressive, but he could run on some ideas. You know what I mean? He supports some progressive ideas. I listen to him. So, some town hall. But
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. We really appreciate it.
And that's about it for that. Yeah. It's so-called bullshit. But these guys are so-called Young Turks. I don't know. AOC, yeah, she's looking for who's the best candidate as of right now. She says he's gonna, from a year from now, who else is gonna come in? Do you really think so? I don't think so. Plus, there's no debate. No one's gonna come in now. But they said they can't debate. There's not gonna be no debates, so no one's gonna. I don't think anyone's gonna come in. See, if Cornel West had come in the Democratic primary, it would be great. But he's going to run for the Green Party. But I don't think anyone's gonna come in really significant right now. There's no one out there. RFK Jr. is he's doing pretty good in the 20% or 30%. He's getting, and so-called progressive, she's only getting 10%. How you explain that? I think it's the media. I don't think, yeah. She's been on platforms. I mean, I don't think she getting well, actually they're not. But still, I don't know. But she's getting some views, so she's on some media. But I don't know. But she's I don't know. She seems too good to be true. Marianne Williamson, and then that comment that there was a couple what is it, 2 months ago. She asked a question. Somebody asked her a question about reparations. She disagreed with him. He kept hounding her about it, and she called him anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? I realized that really turned me off. Like she doesn't seem genuine. She's gonna do big we're gonna do this and that. All this, you know what I mean? This and that, and yeah. Even RFK Jr. didn't sound like that. He talked about foreign policy. We're gonna do this, certain things. You know what I mean? Progressive. He said some progressive policies he could do. But the main thing he was doing is the vaccine. I disagree with him, but the wars, all these wars, he's gonna stop all. I think he will do it. I think he's more believable than her. Sorry, Jink. So she's not that believable. So AOC is right. You're wrong. Even though I don't like Biden, he's terrible. Anyways, folks, that's it for this video, and it's late. Wow, it's a long video. I'm out, folks.